I'll set it off.
Word.
I think I want to kind of just go right on into the first topic that we have on the list, which is surprising cards. I was kind of thinking about this one for throughout the week. Obviously, we've been all playtesting and building and trying to come up with our own sauce.
Right.
So for me personally, I think one of the more surprising cards for OP2 is the green Nico Robin film card.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's opened up a lot of options. In case you don't know or aren't familiar with the card, it allows you on play to play a 2-drop film or straw hat character. So there's a whole bunch of options, and on top of that, I'm using it in the green-red law deck. So it's opened up cool avenues, such as using some of the film cards from the promo packs that we've gotten, such as the film Barto, which is a 2-drop blocker. Again, nice free drop right there. Extra blockers in the deck, which is really great. It's actually even opened up going back to set 1 and the 2-drop Luffy, which is, again, it's not one of the strongest cards because, for the 2-drop cost, but getting played out for free, and then still getting the free swing while still dropping, characters on board to do law things is nice, resource gain. So just putting that card back into your option pool.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's interesting as well because as a law player myself, my opening move always, if I have the Brook, is like hopefully I'm going 1st. Turn 2, I'm just gonna Brook and put the 2 on law, so I could just get a first big swing.
Right.
I might even put that last down there if I don't have any more 1-drops.
Mm-hmm.
But to think of like, well, I could add more bodies if I just Nico Robin into the Brooks,
Right.
and then swing for 7 still, and now I'm a little bit closer to my 5 full board.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things you could do with it. Plus the blocker, it's cool to get the blocker. Like Lex said, Nico Robin is a good card.
It's like why I liked Gecko Moria last set in all of the Blurple builds I tried is because like instead of playing like a blocker, you could play Gecko Moria for 4, who's like a 5k, and he picks up like a law. And if you're only spending 5, but you get a blocker and then a separate guy who can attack.
Right.
And it's the same thing. It's just
or
like
the 2K Mihawk.
Yeah, exactly.
Counter.
Or a counter. So it's pretty sweet. I definitely figured it'd be good, but seeing it in action, it's like even better than I thought it'd be. So
Heck yeah.
solid pick.
Going back to the whole Nico Robin stuff, playtesting against your deck, and turn 1, you usually slam down a 1-cost blocker. Turn 2, you get Robin out and Barto, and you already have like an insane defense ready to go. And you're like more than halfway to having your board filled out for law. So it's been a struggle dealing with that. But it's very good.
Yeah, it seems really good at rebuilding too. Like if they do have like, something like Kaido or King, or like just if you have to attack and they clear your board, it's a really easy way to get back to 5. If you're like, maybe you play the Luffy, like the 7-drop Luffy to play the Robin to play something, and all of a sudden like your board's full again.
Right.
Yeah,
and you can
big drop.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I was thinking about too, like I haven't tried it myself, but with the 7-drop Luffy, because he also grabs film.
Right.
He plays film or straw hat as well. And you have 4-drop film cards like Uta from the red Uta from set 1 that can grab a red card. Okay. So like you think you can grab if you're losing resources, especially if you got like Zoro, say you got like 2 Zoros on the board, they just Kaido'd it. Like you can Luffy to the Uta and get that Zoro back, and you still have 3 Don.
That's
really
you're
at
at
10.
yeah.
So you can Zoro again, and now you got the 7-drop Luffy blocker up there. So that's also something interesting to think about. I think the film package is being slept on. So
I've definitely been having fun with it. I've got one 7-drop Luffy in mind right now. It's obviously situational, but I've been trying to find out other ways to kind of use it. Like I said, obviously the best case scenario is for purple. Like you said, you get wiped out, then you drop it, you've got 3 characters on board again, which is awesome. You're right there to basically shambles again. Even with 10 Don, you can basically do it right there on that turn.
Right.
If you've actually still got 1 or 2 characters on board, you can still technically drop it, and again, because it's a 4-drop or less straw hat or film character, you can still technically drop the Rush Zoro, so get another free swing.
That's not bad.
And then go right back into the shambles. So yeah, definitely not bad.
I'm interested. I wish wishful thinking, but I would love to see like on a live tournament or regionals or someone that's got the table 1s on the screen. I would love to see somebody 10-drop Kaido, a law player, and then they just drop the Luffy, Brooks, Nico, 4 cards in 1 turn. Like, okay, I would love to see that. I mean, wishful thinking because but That would make me a very happy person.
If they have like the 6 exact cards they need,
the 6 exact cards they need, that would be so sick.
Statistically, at some point,
that's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Heart of the Cards right there. Right. Oh, you 10 drop me? That's what I was waiting for.
Perfect. And then they just play 4 cards like a little chopper, and then activate and put like whatever the best card they could think of. Like,
Well, the best part about it is because here's the pros and the cons. The best part about it is that the 7 drop is a blocker himself, so you get to avoid things like the Shanks. And then you get to slam down again like an offensive card like the Nico itself, and then another blocker, right? So you get 2 more blockers, and hopefully you got stuff in your hand to kind of play defense and give yourself another turn. The con that I've been thinking about is it's still 7 Don. If you've got so many, 2 drops and 1 drops in your hand for that same, amount, you can basically fill the board anyways, and then get to shambling anyway. So again, very situational, but still awesome when you get to drop them, and then like Eddie said, your opponent.
Another sleeper film card I think is the film Law, because I'm just thinking about it in my head now. Like, say you wanted to Nico and Zoro on the same turn, but you don't have 6 Don yet. Like, if you Nico into the film Law for 1 more Don, you switch him out for the Zoro.
Oh, I did not know.
Because you switch him out for any 3 drop.
Right,
so it's not restricted.
Okay.
So for 4 Don, you get a Nico that swings next turn and a Zoro this turn.
That's not bad.
It's like a little sleeper.
Yeah.
And I love laws. As many laws as you can put in a deck, why not?
I didn't really think about it before, but your range of like cost for blockers in that deck and how it gets over different removal is kind of crazy, because you have a 1 drop. What is Barto? 2?
He's a 2 drop with 3K.
Yeah, and then you have Law, which is 5, and then now Luffy, which is 7. So like you have a really good good coverage.
It's like worried about Jet Pistol. I got Luffy. Worried about Shanks. I have Law and Luffy. It's interesting.
Yeah, never thought about that too hard before. Another takeaway from this set so far has been the 5 drop Magellan. I think that card has been really good.
Yeah, that card is scary.
Yeah. That is interesting too, because like we both play the card, but in like different decks. Yes. I would say. So I have been loving it.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
And I just switched it into my Blurple Kaido, and it's definitely a cool like turn 3 card.
Right.
Assuming Onigashima's on the field.
Yeah. That is when he's the best, and we've talked about it a couple of times off the pod, but like he is so good if you go turn 1, whatever, turn 2 Onigashima, turn 3 Magellan, and it sets them back a lot. But I feel so bad drawing that card when they have 10 Don. I'm just looking at him like I guess it's a 6K.
It's the worst.
It's not like he's gonna counter.
There's nothing worse though than because John did this to me.
Yeah.
It was John or Keith. I think they both did it to me, honestly. But it was turn 1 with John specifically. Turn 1, turn 2 Onigashima, turn 3 Magellan. I'm like, cool, okay. Turn 4 another fucking Magellan. I'm like, bro, give me a chance here, because now I gotta start killing you. Now you got 2 big bodies on the field. Like I can't.
And that was the thing. Like,
you're playing with 2 Don now.
Yeah.
You just killed my Don, and then you just two Magellans on the field, and then you drop a 10 drop. You swing with them, and then drop 10 drop Kaido.
Yeah.
So now we're both going back down because I'm losing 4.
No, it's actually only on their turn.
Yes.
So when he dies, it doesn't.
I think the only thing like
so clutch.
Either that deck like you've got to somehow fit like Onigashima in there, or I wish they would have gave like an impel down version of Onigashima that like synergized with the deck, because then I think that deck probably becomes
but it's too much, because I don't think Magellan the leader needs Onigashima, because you have cards like the Jailer Beast.
Yeah,
those cards are getting you that Don back.
They get to play Sadie and have it actually be a card that does things.
Yeah,
whereas,
no, that's true. That's true. But like in terms of like just like broken it, or like a tier 1,
wild.
like you know what I mean, like tier 0. Like,
the amount of times that Keith is little Sadie into Minotaur on turn 2.
That's the Hanta Mulligan for
early pressure. I'm just like, bro, double attack.
One of the last games that you and I played against each other, I was able to do that turn 2, and then turn 3 just load up 5 Dawn onto Minotaur and swing for 10 double strike.
You know what I'll say? Like that deck is a great like gatekeeper deck in the sense of if you're a slower deck that needs Dawn to do things, you're never gonna get it.
Yeah. Like playing against Smoker, keeping Kuzan at bay, keeping Whitebeard at bay.
Yeah, because that's it. Once that Whitebeard hits the board, it's like
which is actually an interesting point, because now that I'm thinking about it, all the best decks are fast decks,
right?
Especially now we were just watching some tournaments talking about it. Kinemon, I don't know, like I would call it a fast deck, like Zoro or Law, kind of
but it definitely does have early pressure with turn 1 Okiku.
Right.
Turn 1 Okiku is just too much pressure. Like,
I both love and fear Okiku as a green player. You know, it's great when it's on your side and you've got 3 of them to drop back to back to back.
Don't listen to him.
But how would you guys feel about like a ban or a restriction to Okiku?
We were
like
literally
Eddie's saying.
It's funny because before you came in, we were talking about it, and I was like, "Yo, I feel like Okiku could definitely not ban. You don't have to add
definitely
the ban,
not a ban,
but I definitely think it could get restricted to like, just one of those in your deck. Like,
I think restricted to 2 is pretty fair.
It's just so much like,
it's
especially if like you go
crazy.
second, if you're playing green and they're going second and they happen to have 2, because Kinemon is like 1 or less,
right?
So you play 1 Gokiku. Well, it's once per turn.
Yeah,
but still, it's just like that's coming next turn.
Right.
So now you're just gonna swing with that 6, which is like now I have to have the 2K counter. You're resting some shit, but then you're probably gonna swing over whatever you rested, and it's resting 5 or less. Like
5 or less.
That's what kills.
That's what kills
bro.
it.
It's
Yeah.
such a like high ceiling.
I played against Nick so many times, and he's been playing Okiku, and I was so mad the first time I played a queen, or like I was looking at queen, and I was like, this doesn't even do anything. It dies like to Okiku and then the leader. Like, that's my biggest blocker in this deck too. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, as a law player, all of my cards are my highest card is 5 drop.
I've been having so much fun with my law deck, and I'm just like the second I see the Okiku, like I know it's gonna be over.
Exactly.
It's over. I'm like, oh, there goes the game.
And it's so just like, she's perfectly statted and everything too, where like she is attacking the leader and forces them at least to have a 2K counter, and then puts so much pressure on the board while your leader gets to clean up. It's like so hard to come back. It's so hard to control the board. And then God forbid, like I've played Nick so many times where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna throw like 4 Dawn on my leader and attack Okiku, and he'll just
counters out.
He'll just have it. Be like, oh, Ezo, scratch, man. Yeah, no problem.
And that's the other worst part. You have to like set yourself back so much to try to like take care of it. Like you know what I mean? Like I myself, I'm gonna drop the Ezo, right? Like it's a 3 drop. I had to waste 3 Dawn. That means I probably only have 1 or 2 Dawn to swing over the.
That's
a 2K
counter out.
They most definitely probably got like a 2K counter.
Yeah, counter out.
You know, so it's just like.
But what do you do? Like ignore the Okiku? You know,
right? Yeah, because you leave that alone. You just gotta hope you win second and have a jet pistol.
And that's the worst part, right? Because like best case scenario, you do kill her. You're still behind because you had to put a bunch of Dawn onto your leader to attack to try and even it out. You're not advancing the board state at all. It's just neutral, and then your opponent gets to start
again. Drop it for 2 again.
Drop it again for 2.
Worst case scenario, you load up your leader or whatever, and they counter. You're done.
The thing that kills me too with Okiku and why I wouldn't mind it being restricted. No hate on Okiku though, because that's such a good card.
It is.
But now you also have Odin. I KO Odin.
Oh,
and now you bring in Okiku out from your deck.
Yeah,
what?
That's
so I killed your Odin to deal with an Okiku now.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the worst part with Kinemon too, because like you could really control his board, get his board down, and then his effect will affect Odin. If he has an Odin in hand, you get an Odin out cheaper, and then you have to deal with the Odin, and then Okiku comes out. It's just like you're always fighting an uphill battle.
I'm holding Otama Jet Pistol. Yes. I'm like the whole game to deal with the card, and then my reward is they get like Okiku from the deck.
You like just have to hope that like all the Okikus are in life.
Yeah.
Your only reward is that like they didn't get to go off and swing twice with Odin. Like that's your only reward, really.
Yeah, but it's still like it is a reward. You want to stop Odin swinging twice, but it's also like stop that. But now I got to deal with Okiku.
Exactly.
It's like Magellan. I mean, it's like
I need to kill Magellan, but I don't have 2 Dawn to spare.
Yeah, I need all of this Dawn. Interesting. But speaking of restrictions and bans, how do you guys feel about the new ban list?
It's kind of interesting.
Only active in Japan, but I'm sure once we get to set 3.
I definitely don't know enough about the set 3 meta to really talk about what is it, Moby Dick?
It's Moby Dick.
It's completely banned, right?
Completely banned. And
Moji.
And I get the Moby Dick because Moby Dick now.
Oh, it's a
terrible card to deal with.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine Whitebeard getting stronger next set and then having to deal with Moby Dick.
Yep.
Because it's not that hard for them to get to 1 less life.
Yeah.
Their whole deck is doing that.
Yeah.
And if I learned anything this about playtesting and early locals, you don't want them there.
No.
They're willingly, like, you don't even want to attack them. They're waiting to get there so they can start playing radical beams. And they're just loading up their hands. So when you're finally ready to attack, it's just like, okay, radical beam, a guard point.
Marco's still alive.
Marco's still up here.
And oh man, that deck is very frustrating because we talked about it again before, but when I read that card, I was like, oh, this will be a very interesting deck, I think. And then when I saw it being played, I was like, this is not interesting. This is terrible. It's just turned into this like mono red controlled deck where it just have like, who knows how many cards in their hand, all of this Don, and they don't really need to put too much pressure on you because they're already swinging for 6 base. They could throw a couple of Don on Whitebeard, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's like a Kaido.
I think for Whitebeard, for me as a law player, because I'm not too scared of them getting to the 0 life and having all those radical beams and I just got to keep attacking and hoping that I'm safe. Sure. But the thing is, I have to swing for 6 each time. Right. And that wasting Don to get my characters to 6. Yeah. It's just like it's limiting my plays or limiting the amount of times I'm gonna attack.
It makes cards like Sunny really bad. Yeah. Like that card is already like decent, but like when it goes from having to attach 1 little Don on Sunny and 1 from the Zoro to attaching 2 on a Sunny and 1, and all of a sudden it's like not that great. And that's just to match. And like they have 20 cards in their hand, they're ready to counter.
They definitely have counters. It's just like that's the thing. It's 6K just to match. Right. Yeah, now when you're doing 7K just to battle out the 2K counter, nah, you need 8K now. Yeah, because that 2K counter brings them to 8, and that's always their leader is just at 6.
It's a cool effect though. I do like that they got.
It's
a little
an interesting
crazy
game style, and I think it's so. I think it's cool because it fits Whitebeard's like fighting style.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's like an interesting. It's definitely an interesting format, or what would I call that technique?
Technique for card design,
card design, But it's definitely annoying to play against. But
and it's kind of crazy.
But it's not like it's not like it's the worst deck to play against.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't say it's the worst deck to play against. I think it's just the most like
frustrating.
Yeah.
It disrupts your rhythm. Like
For
every
sure,
other like style so far, in a way, like you kind of can play most of your play style. It's like one of the first decks really that like you kind of know, I've got to do something completely different.
Yes,
like for all like all the Digimon players out there, it's kind of like your first time playing against yellow.
Right.
It's like,
right.
You were learning in a sense when you play all the other colors. Hey, just swing as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
And then like against yellow, like that was like the first time you kind of learned like this strategy of, hey, don't swing until like you've got like lethal. You got 5 swings on the board, and then go for it. If not, they're just gonna keep on recovering. So I think it's like the first time in a way like us as One Piece we're seeing a deck where it disrupts your natural play style, and you're gonna have to kind of do things out of the ordinary. For a law player, that might mean not trying to do the shambles play really, because 6 or 7 swings at 5K or 6K doesn't do it anymore, right? So maybe you need to just load up all those Dons into the Sunny and chip away that way, or get them to that last life and then drop unblockable Luffy, do something. You know what I mean? Like
just mix it up in some
I think
way.
that's it. You gotta get them to that last light to get them to that. All those cards in their hand is gone, and then drop that unblock. Fuck your Marco.
Yeah, I mean, we actually, kind of cool segue. We just watched it happen while we were watching the PPG Regionals.
Oh yeah,
let's go Magellan.
Yeah, Magellan took it over Whitebeard.
Top Cup. Yeah, Whitebeard. They didn't win. Kinemon won the regionals, which was a Kinemon versus Kinemon mirror, to be expected. But
of course,
I do respect to the Magellan player, and it was so dope to watch, and I really just like, for me, Uta, I feel like knowing when to play it, because whenever like I've played Uta, they for the most part they're killing it right away.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had
so
Uta
it's like
stick around.
Yeah,
ever.
So but watching him, I think that's the play, like late game Uta.
Yeah,
because he played 2 Utas at the end when they both had no life. And Whitebeard had 2 Marcos. So when it was his turn to swing, he had 2 Marcos, an ace, and a squad. It's like, I can't. I'm swinging now. I'm risking it because you're just gonna rest my Marcos. So if I don't kill you this turn, I have no blockers next turn.
So the Whitebeard player opted not to swing.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that the Magellan player then just got to swing with the Utas, and it was because because Whitebeard ran out of cards. It was literally just like King swings for 7, Queen swings for 6. A Don on each Uta, just a bunch of tiny hits to force them to block, use a radical beam, etc., etc. And then it came down to
and they had 2 cards in hand. So I think honestly the Whitebeard player probably should have just tried to go for game at that point.
Maybe
you got 2 cards in your hand and you know what it is.
Right.
So and they're swinging with 2 Utas, a queen, a king, and their leader.
Magellan.
But it was an interesting game to watch.
For sure.
It was definitely
high pressure moment. Been playing all day.
Oh yeah.
I missed it unfortunately, but definitely sounded like a great matchup.
It was a good time.
Magellan doing big boy things. We're gonna sleep on Magellan.
Oh yeah, very exciting.
Speaking of missing, here's a slight bummer. I actually got on the wait list for this PPV. I didn't check my email until like right before I came here. Yeah, damn. So I could have made it. Yeah, I had to invite. I had to invite off the wait list. Yeah, and I didn't see it until it's Sunday, man. It's like
I gotta start checking my emails, man.
Damn. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, oh no. But not to say I would have topped or anything, but it just
still just to get in there to play
and to get the regional cards, man.
True.
Yeah. Want that law, man.
I also want to show off my version of law. I mean, I'm sure tons of people have been playtesting, but I still haven't seen anyone run the film package yet to the top anyway.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I was just checking out the One Piece meta deck website, and the most recent law that had topped was this Friday, and the only new card was Vista. Everything else was like regular OPO1 law stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I run mine.
Kind of interesting. Oh, my fault to cut you off, Eddie. But I guess I kind of want to brainstorm real quick. I guess with you guys because I don't have Vista in mind.
Oh.
So what I do have is 2 of the Ezos instead, which would kind of take its spot. Or I was actually kind of thinking about this in a way of putting the Vistas instead of the Ezos. Now, I have the Ezos because they're 2K counters, right? So I like to keep them in the hand more for that. And as a secondary, I guess I'll suspend.
Yeah,
Okiku,
you do have the utility to rest still.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Bring it back to hand.
Exactly, you can bounce them and then use the counter.
My thing with Vista, which is why I do have him in my deck at 3, and I'm kind of leaning towards where Lex is, where I might even take him out. It's such a good card, especially when you're shamblings and killing out the blockers. Mm-hmm. But it also doesn't kill the big guys unless you got Otamas and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And in my personal experience with when I'm searching with Nami, when I'm searching with Bonnery, and when I was searching with the Don, I just took the Don out my deck. But when I was searching with the Don,
he misses all of them.
All of it. Yeah. They don't search Whitebeard. Yeah. So I'm constantly sending Vista to the bottom of the deck where it's just like I better get to use it, opposed to Nico. Nami gets me to Nico. Mm-hmm. So I kind of maybe want to put the Nico back in because the people try to kill it, but you're wasting a resource.
Right.
And now next turn I get to attack with that Nico, which is value.
It's a thought. Yeah.
And it's a 4K swinger, so you just put that one down and swing for 5. Opposed to Vista's 3.
Right.
So when I do want to swing with him, I gotta load him up with 2.
I don't know. I just think that there are certain points where that card is so very good, and especially in certain matchups.
Yeah.
God forbid you're staring down a Eustace kid, and they have 2 big gang beige on either side of them. If you get to play Vista, bounce him, play him again, or something, like Vista, bounce, play Law, just so you can finally attack the kid. Certain situations like that, I think that card is invaluable in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
there's also, like you said, if you got the Ezos, I'm instead of bouncing, I'm gonna rest it.
Yeah.
And if you are running the Nekomamushi still,
right,
you can just rest the blockers.
But that being said, too, Vista will get rid of them.
Completely, which is nice. But
because they're gonna counter when you attack the kids, so you're gonna have to do it next turn too. You have to attack.
I think it definitely comes down to what's being played in terms of your locals and or if you're going into a big tournament.
True.
I think. It still needs some more playtesting. Only because, if you're expecting a whole bunch of red, I think Visa's the way to go.
Mm-hmm,
Obviously, just slamming him down and wiping out their 1Ks or their 1 drops.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. But, what happens when you start playing blue more and or purple decks where, what I mean? 3K doesn't matter.
Yeah, there are some times where I find that card in Zoro to be absolutely useless.
Yeah, it's just a counter in my hand at that point. There's been so many times where it's just a counter in my hand. Playing against black, playing against blue, purple, most of their high end. Especially when you start getting late game, it's just none of them things are 3K. I need Otamas. I need
right. The card is still though. If you can hit anything with it, good value.
Right.
Think of a card like Kobe. Right? Would you say Kobe's a good card?
But Kobe kills three play costs.
No. But
Kobe's a great card.
Okay, right, exactly. But you have to play him and discard a card, and he kills some play cost guys. 3, right? Vista does. There's a huge overlap, barring any other cards working with Kobe. Huge overlap between the cards Kobe and Vista kill.
But I'm gonna tell you why Kobe is way better than Vista, and I'd rather trash that card. Vista kills 3, so 3,000, I need that Otama to kill most cards. Kobe's killing Okiku. Kobe's killing the Rush Zoro. Kobe's killing the Vista. Kobe's killing 3 play cost of 3.
Right.
It's a lot of good cards.
Okay.
opposed to Vistas. I got an Otama Vista just to kill that. Just to kill the Okiku. That's a pain in my ass.
True. But
which is true though. Like, but there is situations like you said where you want to kill those blockers, and it does help. But I think if I could get Nico Robin a stick and she's more searchable, I can swing kill it, and then.
I think there's a good argument for that.
But it's also if I'm playing against green. That Otama and jet pistol stay in my hand to the.
You already know, yeah.
That Otama and jet pistol stay in my hand till that boy come out.
Whether it's Kid or
Odin, they're staying in his head. I will not be countering with this Otama.
No, I would lose the game with that Otama in my hand. Jeez. All right. Well, I think we touched on a lot of good topics here, but I definitely we got one topic that has been talked about a lot and since the game started, and I'm sure we could probably speak on it for hours, but just to touch on a little bit, how are y'all feeling about the wonderful product availability for the One Piece TCG?
Oh it's abysmal.
It's so like OP2 just came out and it's already hard to get cards.
I saw just like randomly on TikTok the other day, like 3 people who were like going to Walmart for One Piece, and it's just barren, shelves ravaged. Maybe they're lucky and they find like a military starter deck here or there. Like,
I went to Target Friday night and they had 2 film decks, 2 Navy decks, and then they did have a section for blister packs that were priced at MSRP, but it was cleaned out.
Yeah. No shot those ever touched the shelves.
Yeah.
It's just gotta be on it. It's crazy because I know a couple stores out here in the East Coast that they didn't even get the OP2.
Yeah.
What they were supposed to get, right? What they signed up for, what they paid for, but it's coming in, I guess, like in April or something. Like they pushed it back because they didn't have enough to give everybody. I'm just like, yo, why? At this point,
so you Bandai saw the release of OP01, saw how popular it is. How do you not plan for that at that point? Was it too late, or are they just kind of?
I think part of it is it's a bit of a time crunch, and frankly, I think part of it is they don't care. I feel like I don't know if I'm just like, beat up too many times by Bandai, but it feels like the entire North American market is like an afterthought to them. I feel like the care and consideration is just lost somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, and like by the time it gets over here, they're like, oh, whatever, man, you get what you get.
Get what you get.
And there's only like 2 places to get the product from, and that for like almost I think all of North America, there's only 2 distributors that carry Bandai product, and like we switched from one to the other at my local store because the first one was just so bad at getting us the product, and this other one is better, and still we went from like dozens of boxes to like 4 because they were like, sorry, we're not getting as many as you ordered. And it's like, bro, we have to order half a year in advance. How hard is it to print cards?
Yeah,
like we already got our numbers in. You know what the demand is. How do you short us all by like a third? It's absolutely wild. But
it's so wild, and then in turn, that lack of product is making the cards themselves hard to acquire because now people are selling them for a set price, which is cool. Get your money, get to your bag. I ain't hating on nobody. Get to your bag.
It makes opening it cool.
Yeah,
right?
It makes it. It's definitely a part of TCG, but for players who like really can't afford it and want to play, or for newcomers that don't want to spend that much money to build a deck, but they want to get into it and see how they want to play it.
Yeah,
it's like we're kind of restricting them from playing it because it's like, yo, I'm not paying all of this for a card. I don't know.
Imagine
a game I don't think
little
I'm like.
Timmy going to the store, seeing One Piece is coming out. Oh boy, I hope all my favorite Navy characters are in the game. And it's like, oh no, next set, bud. Next set. Comes back to the store. Oh, everything is at least $15 a piece, and I need a playset of it all.
Yeah.
And then I need 4 Kuzan who are $60 a pop. Like,
not happening.
Yeah, maybe 4 Christmases from now.
Little Timmy will finally get to play.
But like, I was talking with like my coworkers at the store too, and it's just like, what do you do when someone comes in and says, "Hey, I want to try the One Piece card game"?
Right.
And it's like, I hope you want the film starter deck, because that is the only thing you could buy 2 of those and you can give it your best shot. But there's no other product available. Like maybe you can find someone who's like selling a box for like a couple $100, like. It's absolutely insane.
And so even then, you're not going to get what you need to build a deck.
Exactly. You're going to get
that's
whatever
just one
box.
Yeah, you're going to get some of it.
You're going to get whatever's in that box, and you better hope it's purple because again, the only starter deck that's available.
You have to go on TCG and buy and
right.
I'm sure Bandai's making their money, and so they're not completely sad. Like, what? Everything is sold out? What?
Yeah. Oh no. Like, drying their eyes with like $100 bills. Like.
Right. But honestly, it's like you're saying, right? They're winning in the short term, and the resellers and flippers are winning too.
Are winning too. So I mean, maybe they fix the problem and then the reselling values drop. So I mean, resellers, do what you gotta do. I guess this is the time to do it. It's the time to do it. Make your money, man, for real.
Well, right. I just think there needs to be a little bit better of like a happy medium, like everyone's saying, where the resellers, you know what I mean? Like if you want to go hunt for boxes and try to grab that manga Shanks or that manga Ace, you know what I mean? Whatever. Like that's where like the money's supposed to be at, right? Or like the alt arts or whatever. But like you guys are saying too, like little Timmy should have his chance too to grab that manga Shanks and then maybe flip it for
like
everything.
Our local, for example, we have a set number of players. There's no way new players are getting in unless there's like some outlier who is going to buy singles on a singles website, which is a crazy investment because you don't get to try the game before that because there's no you're decks to buy, et cetera, et cetera. So like there's a set amount of players. And like, say the weekly rolls around, and like half of them are busy. That's too bad. You're good. You're gonna get the same 10 guys no matter what. Because new players can't join unless like every new set comes out. They just buy as much as they can because they know there's gonna be none available.
Or you have a cool locals like ours.
True.
Well, we let people borrow our decks.
Right. A bit of an outlier though, I'm sure. Like.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely. One of the more annoying things, just put out some more product. I mean, easier said than done, right? Like I said, they've got logistics and figuring things.
I know that's like they have to put ink on cards. It's a tall
print
order.
A big sheet and cut them
right? Yeah. If only they had a multinational company.
Hey, I will say, like the printing and the cards.
Quality is fantastic.
True.
A1.
Especially because like coming from Magic, their print quality has been shoddy at best and really bad in the last couple of years. I've never complained about the Bandai print quality, especially when the money cards come out. You can tell like the extra care was put in for sure. Yeah. So, but don't think that I'm giving you too many compliments. I still hate Bandai. Make more cards.
We'll throw you a bone every once in a while. But
sandwich,
right. Yeah. But so that's a lot of good TCG points to hit on. I think we're hitting like a pretty solid mark. I know Keith had a little bit of a little video presentation.
I do indeed, actually. So you know how John showed us yesterday, last time the volume trailer. There's another volume trailer for the volume beforehand that came out, and I think I'm the only one that's seen that one. So I guess we'll take a quick pause, load that video up, and you guys can give it a view.
All right, we are back. Also, is there any audio spoilers, Keith, or is this a video?
It is a video only. Okay, no worry for audio listeners.
Audio listeners, you're safe. Video listeners, spoilers for chapter 1044.
Yes, 1044
and beyond. Keith, hit him with the play button. It's already sick. Yo. Oh man, I'd love that frame so much.
It's so cool.
All these need to be on cards,
right?
Yo, facts. This will be a dope card, like this black and white.
The whole set right here.
Whole set.
What was that? What was that?
One. Dude, that is so sick.
The thunder.
All I'm gonna say is notice the use of drums.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very nice.
Sick.
Big fan.
All right. We're back for section 3, talking about the newest chapter. Just came out a few days ago, and it is so spoilers for chapter, Keith. 1078. And it's a good one. Definitely don't want to get it spoiled because there is a little bit of a twist. We talked last episode about the Among Us section of Egghead, and we finally got some.
Oh man, Imposter
spoilers.
has been revealed.
Yeah.
Not who I expected.
Definitely.
I will say that. Definitely the character in terms of the Stellas, my favorite design personally. I love large woman. Very cool design.
The smartest man in the world. Yeah, it was like, I'm just gonna make a tall woman with little clothes.
What is her
York?
Well, I know York, but like the
epithet, whatever. Desire.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Right.
Definitely makes sense.
And yeah, that's actually why I thought the twist was kind of cool. I was like, oh, perfect.
It does make sense.
Yeah, I want to be the big dragon. Such a cool little twist, and honestly, the paneling on that last page, so cool.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So
just
cool.
Like squatting.
Yeah, squatting down, and like I guess like the whole tall woman thing really played in because she really just like scoots down, like you would talk to a child,
right?
Yeah,
and just is like has the creepiest face.
It is very good.
Tons of malice. Definitely threw me off. I thought it was Daft Punk.
Yeah, dude. Like, how are you gonna design a character that looks so much like a villain and then have them not be the villain?
He is the goodest of them all.
Right. And also, the other main suspect was Lilith because she's like.
I feel like Lilith is the most red herring of them all.
Yeah.
It is just, this is crazy woman who likes to fight people.
Right.
Oh, actually, I got something pointed out. There's a panel in this chapter where like CP I think 5 is coming to Egghead, and they're talking to Vegapunk and Shaka, but in the background of that, Lilith is just like beating up one of the agents. It's like very hidden, but it's sweet.
Actually, like a couple issues ago when they had knocked out Lucci and Kaku, there's like a blink and you'll miss it panel of Nami just absolutely kicking Lucci like while he's unconscious. I was like, damn.
I love it.
So they're obviously all Vegapunks, but it just throws me off. I'm like, how did she outsmart again? Is it Edison who's Daft Punk?
Yeah. Oh no, Shaka.
That's Shaka.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, again, he just seemed like, you know what I mean, next tier thinker or something. But I mean, I guess maybe we'll see how it happened, how she was betrayed.
She also like definitely is the most unassuming of them all. Most of the time that you see her, she's just eating. She's just hanging out. Yeah.
Living like a celestial dragon, probably.
Yeah.
Right. That's actually a good point. She was like, you know what? It kind of rules.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this a little bit more. But it's so super interesting too because I've seen some discourse, I guess, on either side of the One Piece fandom, who are like, "This is exciting," and the other half are like, "This is boring." And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just One Piece pilled all the way, but like, it's cool.
Dude, I could not be more Egghead brained. I love Egghead.
Are up there, you know, like it doesn't. It's hard for the stakes to feel exciting at this point in the story because Kaido had like this huge buildup for such a long time, and I'm a big Kaido fan. And then Luffy did that, and now there are some fans who are kind of like iffy on it because like Kaido is painted as like the world's strongest creature, which I feel like some people kind of forget is just like this poetic sort of subtitle, like an exaggeration,
like
you know, like exactly. And so now people are like, well, he beat Kaido, like everything else is boring now, and also, you know, like the power scaling discussion is all out of whack too because Luffy is just like a funny little guy now.
But I think like you said, the people that are hating on like it being boring now are saying that the Egghead arc is weird and boring. I think this is also Oda fan servicing those people who think that way. Like, yes, Luffy is very strong now.
Yeah. He definitely has those moments.
So instead of just making more big fights,
right,
let me switch it up.
Yeah.
And let's just have this whole Among Us.
Right.
I'm gonna have you thinking, and let's play a game with it.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is cool as fuck. Like, it's a different outtake of, and that's why I love Oda, man. Like, he's the GOAT.
Right.
It's like, yo,
he can write.
He could have just went to more fighting. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which, yes, there's fighting in it, but now it's like, we already know that Luffy's not just gonna lose to anybody.
Right.
So switching it up and playing around with this dynamic of characters and switching the storyline a little bit, I think is an interesting way to keep the story going without while still addressing the power gaps.
That's true. That's why I actually like how the Rob Lucci fight was written, where it's like it didn't just it wasn't like Bellamy, where he didn't just punch him and it was over. But you could tell he was goofing around, having fun with it, and definitely kind of press that issue of like, no, I'm a lot stronger now. Like, don't even worry about it.
I think a lot of the uneasiness is just comes like in like real life too, right? We kind of don't know where the story is going right now,
right?
In the sense of we all kind of had this idea of what One Piece like the world was, right? Like where we lived like in this fantasy world, and then all of a sudden that kind of got flipped on its head on Egghead Island, where it's like we're kind of in a sci-fi world, post-apocalyptic sci-fi world, where we also do like a hive mind thing potentially, and like DNA splicing, and
so that's actually a really good point too, because early in the arc, I think people already forgot about it. Remember, they find like that robot, and it's like, oh no, this is actually from the ancient kingdom.
Yes.
And you're like,
right.
But it's sci-fi, and it's like, exactly, bro. Now we're getting somewhere. There's some mystery.
I
still.
just the talk about the robot. The whole thing with that was like it was supposed to like climb the red line and like go to Marie-Joie, right? That's what's Kuma's doing that right now.
True.
He's very.
Also, there was like a random panel too of Bonnie still just going through it, right?
Yeah,
in this chapter
right at the end,
yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So that's I'm excited to see more Kuma backstory. What's going on with that? I'm very excited though. My biggest takeaway from the chapter wasn't the chapter itself, but the cover story. The foundation of the Neomads, Judge and Caesar teaming up. So very excited to see what they're gonna do. I really, really hope that this is an opening to bring Queen back into the stories in some way. Fingers crossed.
Just hot Queen.
Oh, dude.
Shinobu can do it.
He's like, I need to become popular.
Yeah.
Kind of tying in the cover story with the current story. Crazy theory. I mean, maybe it's already out there, but at least for me, I'm not digging out there for like the super One Piece crazy theories only because there's so many and you can get stuck in a rabbit hole.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But let's just add one more to the list, right? I think Sanji might have some Lunarian blood mixing with him, or something like that.
Some sort of extra.
I have been hearing whispers, and it definitely, I could see it. I could definitely see it.
Well, I've been thinking of like tons of crazy upgrades for the Straw Hats, right? And I'm like, again, maybe I'm just going full Lunarian out for everyone because I'm like, him and Luffy, like, what is their firepower? Like, where does that come from? Some people like think again, we have all the crazy.
Well, we've just accepted it for so long now. It's just being a thing.
Red Hawk just happens, and no one.
But it was never explained. Like, I think with Luffy, at least they explain, like, especially with Gear 2, like he's just a friction of the rubber, and he's just getting hot there.
Is it?
But for Sanji, he's literally
he
just
was a rubber man for how long? And then, you know what I mean? So.
It's interesting. It's so hard though because like Sanji's been around for so long, and the fact that you're still finding new stuff about him in like actually pretty much every arc, like as recently as Wano. It's pretty interesting how it's like a hidden thing for a character who is so very present in the story. They're still finding new stuff about it. So I mean,
I was just kind of thinking what's so. The reason why I'm so quick to jump on the Lunarian hat for that is, we've seen the Lunarian blood basically make you invincible, right?
Yeah.
What obviously more like tropey can you get, but Zoro being the ultimate sword and Sanji being the ultimate shield for Luffy? Like, come on, that
absolutely. Well, dude, I mean, he's taken hits from S Shark this chapter, just standing still, smiling, cigarette still in mouth.
Right, he's a beast now. Yeah, but it's true. It's true. I can see the Sanji because if he was, he was experimented. He's an experiment product of his father's, right?
Yes, yeah.
So maybe he was experimenting with Lunarian blood.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So it makes sense.
Vegapunk did, obviously.
So it definitely makes sense because they never explain, like, Sanji's just turning his leg on fire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care how many times you can step in one place, you're not turning your leg on fire.
He's not, it's not friction. He's going like this. It's staying still.
Yeah. Like, very much in the air, not touching it.
Which, I don't know. I could definitely see that is one of the most plausible like things.
So yeah, 2 Lunarians on the Straw Hats. 1 Lunarian. Which one is it? Is it Luffy? Is it Sanji?
I don't know.
Sanji,
I would definitely climb on that Sanji train.
Yeah,
I think I'm a believer.
Luffy is like so anomalous to me because like we talked about it before how like Naruto messed up. Right, and Naruto at some point had this narrative of like no matter where you come from or who you are, you can make it happen, and then it turns out Naruto is Jesus. And so like Luffy, Luffy already does have like a solid lineage, but at the same time like it hasn't mattered.
No.
And so I'm interested, like, I don't know if it would be a disservice to the story or not to be like, oh, actually, he was the chosen some sort of chosen one for some reason.
I mean, I could definitely see that.
His mother is.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm waiting for that
Does he have a
SBS,
mom?
bro.
Right?
Yeah.
Does he have a mom?
Like-
Maybe he was, you know what I mean, a clone.
That's
you know
very
what I
true.
mean?
Who knows?
Maybe
yeah.
he was,
You know
or
what I mean?
maybe,
Again, that's why
or
this
maybe
whole-
his mom is like something, you know. Maybe she's half
Naruto.
Lemurian.
And,
Yeah.
and again,
like-
maybe that's part of the other reason why. Again, to go back to our last little discussion, which is why maybe one of the reasons why you might not love One Piece right now in the current state, because like everything is clone this, clone that now, or like
Yeah.
you can potentially fill every gap now.
Right.
Oh, that was a clone, or that was
it's actually a time traveling clone.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why not a little mix of both?
We also don't fully understand the will of D quite yet, so
Right.
hopefully it does not become the D's are the chosen ones and they were supposed to save us the whole time.
I think they kind of touched on that, sort of, when Vegapunk had a chapter of exposition about devil fruits.
Yes, yep.
And also hockey. And there's sort of this like parallel narrative of like devil fruits being like desires and
Mhm.
hopes, and then hockey being like the actual drive and ambition, and how those kind of interact. And we also, while that chapter was happening, had the devil fruit and hockey interaction on like Winter Island with Blackbeard and Law.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if there's something to be said there, or if it'll be like cool and poetic as the series ends.
I think we might
But-
kind of get our answer soon on
Yeah.
Egghead Island. Maybe,
Probably, yeah.
maybe. Because again, my one thing I was kind of thinking about is how do the Straw Hats get out of here, or get out of these like
They've been
sticky
trying,
situations?
yeah.
The
Dude,
Seraphims have been
this
kicking their
one-
ass
Yeah.
left and right, and so obviously we know like the one weakness is the Sea Stone Prism,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
Stussy's lipstick, right? Like potentially could come and bail them out. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe Vegapunk has some other Sea Stone weapons that can bail them out. But so far in the story, I think the only other thing that we've seen that can really trump a really, really powerful Devil Fruit user is a really, really powerful hockey user.
Mm-hmm,
And right now, the two most powerful users that we see that are on our side, Straw Hats, Luffy and Zoro.
right,
Mhm.
right.
So one, I'm hoping maybe I've been waiting for that one too, right? What's up with Zoro's eye? Like, does that mean something or get to do something? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe he gets to reveal.
I will say, I think Jay Garcia coming is gonna be a lot to do with what you were talking about with hockey and like that whole thing of desire and
Mhm.
ambition. I feel like he can shed some light on that.
That's also like a can of worms too, because there is a big turning point on like, all right, so who's left in the series? Obviously Blackbeard, obviously the not even the Admiral so much as Sakazuki specifically,
right.
Yep.
and then like Shanks perhaps is involved in some way, and the
Emu.
Gorosei and
Yep.
Emu, right? Okay, so like all of those people, like who's
The final bad.
yeah, like, and there's so much like, are the Elder Stars going to be just like nobodies? Can they fight? Who knows? And if so, like, why? Like, it's gonna be so interesting to see
I'm
how all
telling you
that
now,
shakes out.
Whitebeard
but-
is not the bad guy.
Whitebeard or Blackbeard?
Blackbeard.
Oh, I was like
Blackbeard.
Whitebeard.
Blackbeard's
Blackbeard's
dead. Yeah, Whitebeard dead.
Yeah,
Blackbeard. They're gonna Oda's gonna do something.
the only
with
plotting he's
Blackbeard,
doing is his grave
even
plot,
though
bro.
even though Luffy hates Blackbeard,
yeah,
Blackbeard is gonna have a turning point where I think like him and Luffy are gonna fight the main bad together.
that's gonna be
Like,
interesting.
They'll go after Emu, and then
Yeah, like-
once that is settled, they fight each other.
And then
There's
they fight
like-
each other. Type
There's
thing,
like
yeah.
two people that Luffy hates, and he's one of them. So
Oh,
it'd
you
be
know,
really interesting.
Could kind of get a God Valley parallel where Luffy and
Yeah.
and Blackbeard team up to fight Emu instead of.
It's like he has to, and he's making it so that Luffy hates Blackbeard. So the team up is just that more unexpected, but that more like controversial when they actually
That would be
team
wild.
up, because it's like, yo,
That'd be
Luffy
wild.
hates Luffy
Yeah.
don't hate anybody, but Luffy hates Blackbeard.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to work with
Mhm.
each other
So I
unless
feel
it's
like making that happen is gonna be such a like.
Can you imagine how the fans would feel? Because obviously everyone's like, oh, Roger is Luffy and Garp is Kobe and Blackbeard is Rocks.
Mhm.
Right.
And then they're like, actually, it's all wrong. It's actually Luffy and Blackbeard are teaming up.
Yep.
That would be wild, dude.
I don't think Kobe's on the Garp level of.
Yeah. And honestly,
that.
I don't like driving that parallel into the ground. I feel
Yeah.
like half of the story is about the new age and not being hung up on the old age of
Yes,
pirates
yeah.
anyway. So obviously the parallels are fine and interesting, but I don't feel like they have to do beat for beat.
Yeah, there's
the
no
whole
reason for it
thing,
to be
you know?
1-to-1.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited to see how that shakes out too, man. It's just It feels so real now.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I still, that being said, the day Blackbeard comes out here talking about some room shambles, I'm done with One Piece.
Oh, and like that's the other thing too is Blackbeard. I feel like is setting up for this very obvious like narrative point, speaking to the Devil Fruit and Haki sort of, axis. Is like Luffy gets this cool Devil Fruit. All of a sudden, is that like where he gets all of his power from? Blackbeard will obviously turn the Devil Fruit off, and then it'll be like, no, the Devil Fruit doesn't matter. Luffy just has so much Haki, so much ambition, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be the thing because he is so resilient, does not take a fight laying down. He will always get back up, always push. So I think that could definitely be a thing.
And I think he's definitely getting stronger without his Devil Fruit because like, what was it, the Rio?
Yep.
Like he used that.
Right.
Before Gear 5, that's what he was really fighting with against Kaido. So it's like the Devil Fruit adds to it, but I think if he fights Blackbeard and Blackbeard takes away the Devil Fruit,
right?
I think for sure like he's still a strong fighter.
Yeah. And also, real quick, I want to go back to Egghead because I think this is taking into account the raid. This is the worst we've seen the Straw Hats in a while. Like this chapter specifically, Usopp's in stone.
Oh yeah.
Frankie's half stone.
Yeah.
They're all split up.
Right.
I feel more afraid for them right now than I ever have.
Interesting.
During the raid, especially with the return of the narrator,
right.
saying the Egghead event, the world will remember. So it's like I am actually kind of scared for where the Straw Hats will end up at the end of this arc.
Would you put this closer to like Marineford, or would you put it closer to like Saba Odi when we first met the Pacifista?
Saba Odi was definitely worse. I think because in terms of Straw Hats as a whole, because only Luffy was associated with Marineford. Because I think at this point he could take on Kizaru when Kizaru arrives. I think Luffy versus Kizaru, fine.
You think so? You think he's ready for Admiral now?
I think not. When I say fine, I don't mean he's gonna wash him.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be an uphill battle, but I think he can take it. Just on a 1-on-1.
Fair enough.
But
I just to speak on that real quick.
Yeah,
I think he probably can.
Obviously, but main character plot armor.
Yeah, but I would be sad because the government specifically has had so little teeth throughout the series. Obviously, barring Marineford, I would be so sad if they finally do send the big guy and he still just gets beat up.
I will say,
where's the suspense?
I think he is going to be the number 2. I think Garcia is going to be the guy to beat in this situation. But Kizaru is kind of being set up to fail because early on in Egghead, we do see technology that Vegapunk has developed that lets them just interact light.
And also, to be fair, they also set it up for him to take like a soft loss.
Yeah.
In the sense of when he sees, Sentomaru, for example, like all beat up and whatever, he knows what side he's, you know what I mean, is the right side, if you would. So he's like, we all know Kizaru. Yes, he hasn't necessarily shown that he's part of the absolute justice, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
dude, I don't think he's gonna give a shit about Sentomaru. To be honest, I think he's just gonna keep doing what he's been told to do.
Yeah.
I don't think him seeing Sentomaru beat up. I think he will kill Sentomaru in a heartbeat.
Interesting.
If come to blows, if that is his order, he will do it.
Interesting.
That is my bet.
Okay. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
All of
Borsellino
it.
like go all out. Okay.
Borsellino needs. I mean, he has been cool throughout the series. He got to beat everybody up in Saba Odi the first time. He didn't do a whole lot. I mean, no one did a whole lot during Marineford, but
I would really love to see him on like the opposite side of the situation where it's like Borsellino against like 50,000, like pirates or 100,000 pirates, and he just goes like yellow flash on everybody.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Just
he is so cool. I love Borsellino a lot. He's a sweet character. But yeah, back to the whole Saba Odi thing. I think Saba Odi was a much more perilous situation, or at least for the time and what it seemed like. Like, everyone was like flying away left and right. They're so hopeless.
Right.
I think we're definitely at a better place than that right now, but I think it could get to a spot where like everyone's split up, everyone's fighting in a very perilous situation where it could get to be Saba Odi bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's possible.
They've been trying to escape, but like Robin is being led to the basement.
Yep.
A handful of them are stone or half stone.
Yep.
Luffy, Zoro, and Kaku and Lucci are fighting 2 Seraphim that are just not dying at all. Like, it's not even like it's a difficult match for them, but they can't stop them.
Yeah,
which is pretty treacherous.
I will say So I was watching. Was I watching a video? It was either a video or a Twitter post that I saw that spoke of this, where the flames do go out on the S's, but it's only when they use their devil fruits.
Right.
So that's like the only time that they'll get an opportunity to attack, but they could just choose not to do that at all.
Like S Shark only uses his devil fruit when he's in the ground,
Yeah.
so I can't really hit him there. And then like Hawk doesn't ever. I don't think.
Yeah, he doesn't need to.
Yeah. It's interesting.
He did it when he used number 2's or Mr. 1's.
Oh yeah, Daz Bones. Yeah,
just to show off. He's like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
Let me not use my sword. Let me turn into a sword.
Yeah.
Right.
Such a cool devil fruit to give to the world's greatest swordsman.
Right. So sick.
Just in case you get caught without your sword, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or, if you're in one of those classic anime clashes where you're just holding swords against each other, you're like, I actually have a lot more swords.
Right.
Hold on. But it's so exciting, man. I'm getting a little worried, getting a little, I don't know, just very. I'm nervous. I'm like
definitely.
the narrator.
The
like
stakes
he
are
said,
definitely high.
Yeah.
They're not in a situation that it's like you can feel like Luffy can just one shot his way out.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone getting turned into stone right now. Like that's something they got to deal with, right?
Right.
We learned with Boa previously with Blackbeard that apparently even if they were to kill
Snake, right?
Snake, right? Yeah, as Snake, like they wouldn't go back to normal.
Yeah.
So like they have to figure out a way to get her to willingly.
And all of that while there's this pressing issue of who knows how many ships coming to Egghead.
Yeah,
right,
like
right.
That's
They're
the
not
thing
on a time
too.
crunch or anything.
No.
Is like, yeah, Luffy's super powerful now, but he has to look after so many people, and they're all being attacked, but at so many different sides, and they have no idea what's coming too. They just think it's the Seraphim and Cypher Pole Zero who are now on our side for a little bit, but I don't know. Should be very cool.
It's gonna be cool. And is it break week or no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I hope not, because I want to find out now.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to talk about that issue as well. And how are we doing on time? Actually,
it's a good question.
Ooh, all right, we're actually just about there. So,
Wow.
Any other fun little topics you want to talk about that new issue?
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts, perhaps. I heard one thing that maybe y'all would like to hear, but there is a throwaway line a few chapters back where Atlas mentions offhandedly that Atlas has the ability to change shape.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it is just a throwaway line.
That is very possible where it looks like York.
So York, who was stone previously.
Yes, that is true.
Now not stone. Atlas can change shapes.
Oh.
Could potentially just not be York at all.
Perhaps.
Could just be a setup.
Who knows? Not me, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
That is a very good point to bring up.
Yeah. So.
Oh no! Why do you do this to
I
us?
know. I thought he was good at writing action, and now here I am, like on this whodunit for the last who knows how many weeks. Like, good stuff, man. And you know what? It's a nice like break in the meta story of One Piece to just. I mean, because it feels like Wano went on for years, and it feels like it was fight after fight, and I loved all of it. Don't get it twisted, but I kind of like not having to do a fight every week. And this, I mean, there's still a lot of fighting, but it kind of slowed down. There's still some dialogue, a new exploration, which we haven't had in a long time.
Yep.
In a very different.
It does feel like that core of adventure. We're getting a lot more crew interactions than we have in the past because everyone's back together, gets to banter. Well, not now, but. We were getting a lot of that early on. There's just one panel from early Egghead that I really love of Luffy just holding the stag beetle to Bonnie and just be like, Bonnie, check this out. And Chopper's just like, that's not the time for this. I love that panel. That.
Some good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't think I have any more talking points. What about you guys?
I think we kind of covered it.
Sweet.
All right. Well, sick. Thank you all for tuning in. You heard us air our grievances with the TCG, did a little catching up on some trailers that we missed, and of course some new chapter recap. We'll be back with some more funny little talking points next time, and until then, we'll be seeing you.
Goodbye.
Peace.